This training video covers the operation and control of the bulk storage tanks and their ancillaries as accessed via the master PLC HMI. There is a separate video that focuses on the actual delivery and receipt of the chemical along with the location of relevant pipework and instrumentation. The control and operation of the orthophosphate bulk storage tanks is undertaken via a dedicated PLC with its own HMI mounted near the pedestrian entrance door to the dosing building. After logging on in the normal way, for the purpose of accessing all functions we are logging in at engineering level, and start at the main page, you are presented with 5 active selection buttons. Application details. This shows the details of the systems integrator that produce the software and the version that is in use. Network details. This shows a mimic of the basic network architecture with relevant IP addresses. Trend index. This shows the menu for accessing the 3 available trends: tank level 1, tank level 2, and also the chemical temperature. System setup shows the menu for system setup of date and time, analog scaling, set point index, these will be looked at in more detail later, and finally diagnostics. HMI terminal configuration is not applicable for this training. Help page. This shows the key for the colours and icons used on the HMI mimics. Select the Overview button. It is from the Overview page that most of the functionality is manipulated. On this page, you are presented with a variety of statuses for ancillary items such as Delivery Area Shower, Activation Event and Temperature Sensor, Delivery Area iBath, Activation Event, Dosing Room iBath, Activation Event, Interceptor Chamber, Level Switch Alarm. Apart from the buttons along the bottom of the page, the only active icon on the Overview page is Storage Tank button. Clicking on this button takes you to the storage tank mimic. Here, there are 2 storage tanks represented, tank 1 at the top left and tank 2 at the bottom left. Both tank mimics are accompanied by relevant analog data which include chemical storage levels, valve statuses, chemical temperature and bund level switch status. Each tank has the real-time level displayed on the top left of their represented mimic. This is displayed in units of percentage full. Just below this figure is a volume of chemical present represented in litres for greater clarity. To the right of each mimic are individual outputs from the dual validation pressure level instruments, again displaying in units of percentage full. These instruments can be designated as either control or police, essentially primary and secondary. By clicking on the instrument selection for either tank, it is possible to change the designation. It is also important to note that it is the analog reading from the unit designated as control, the primary instrument, that is displayed on the mimic, top left of the tank, and also on the LED display in the fill cabinet. It is also used to extrapolate the volume figure that is shown in litres. On the storage tanks page, you can navigate to the storage tanks setpoint page by selecting the button at the bottom right of the mimic. Setpoints page 1 will now be displayed. Here you can see all the level set points for both tanks as set at commissioning and based on the predicted delivery quantities. Briefly, the set points and alarms will perform in the following manner. Level high will produce an alarm to SCADA and HMI. The klaxon will also sound and be accompanied by an amber beacon illumination. In reality, this alarm state should only happen during a delivery with personnel in attendance and should therefore be acted upon immediately, that is, the delivery to be stopped immediately. Level high will produce an alarm to SCADA and HMI. Again, this should only occur during a delivery, but gives personnel time to establish whether or not delivery can continue to completion or should be stopped. With the as commissioning setting, when the high alarm is triggered at 95%, there will be 500 litres of remaining capacity before 98% high is reached. The tank would overflow after a further 2,400 litres. Reorder level. This will produce an event alarm, alerting ops to the fact that an order needs to be placed for more chemical. This was set at 20% at commissioning on the understanding that the reorder amount will be at 17 tonne, 10,750 litres. At 20%, this amount could be taken immediately with no operational issue and would raise the level to around 92%. In reality, the tank is likely to have dropped further before delivery is taken, to around 10%, allowing for a greater margin of safety and avoidance of nuisance alarms. Low level. This was set at 10% at commissioning and is at the point at which the bulk tank switch duty. Changeover. At this level, the tank will have approximately 1,500 litres remaining. Low level. Alarm raised to HMI and SCADA. This was set at 5% at commissioning. If the system is working normally, i.e. tanks are free from overrides and both in service, then this alarm should not occur as the duty tank should already have changed over. Such an event should therefore be investigated further. Out of service and overrides will be touched upon later. From set point page 1 you can now navigate to set point page 2. Here there are further set points relating to the tank levels and alarms. Storage tank working volume. This was set at 15,000 litres at commissioning and should never alter. Storage tank level deviation variance. Set at 10% during commissioning. If the figures generated by the control and police pressure level instruments differ by 10% or more, then an alarm will be generated to HMI and SCADA. Storage tank level deviation devalence time. This is the time delay before an alarm is activated, should the 10% deviation variance be exceeded. Storage tank level deviation alarm reset time. This is the time that the deviation variance needs to be back within limits before the associated alarm is auto-reset. Storage tank rapid drop tank number 1 and tank number 2. These settings look to detect a serious leak of chemical early. Currently at 5% over 300 seconds, this equates to 750 litres in 5 minutes. Average dosing at 180 megalitres per day, flow would use 575 litres over 24 hours. Storage tank number 1 and number 2 low temperature. As the tanks are trace heated and insulated to guard against effects of cold weather, these alarms give an early warning should the chemical temperature fall below this setting. From set point page 2, you can now navigate to set point page 3. Here, the available selections relate to taking instruments and the tanks themselves out of service. Storage tank number 1 or number 2 instruments A or B out of service. If one of the instruments designated as control is taken out of service, say for maintenance, replacement or repair, then the level will be monitored by police instrument alone and will essentially act as a control instrument. The deviation alarm will be deactivated in this scenario. Tanks 1 or 2 out of service. This function is needed to facilitate maintenance or repair should a problem occur with the tank. When a tank is taken out of service, the following actions will occur. If the tank was duty and in service, the system will change over and run on the other tank. The outlet valve will close, if not already in the closed position. Relevant storage tank alarms will be disabled. Tank will have a status banner of out of service. Tank will become unavailable as far as control functions are concerned. Automatic changeover will be deactivated. Note, if both tanks are selected as out of service at the same time, the following actions will occur. System stop sequence will be initiated and dosing will cease. Disabled both sets of storage tank alarms. Outlet valves on both tanks will close. Both tanks will have out of service banners and become unavailable. Relevant alarms will be raised on HMI and SCADA.